Appendix 2, Examination Questions, page number 901. With some hints on answer. West Bengal Civil Service Examination 2000. English essay, Pressy writing, composition and translation. Time allowed 3 hours, full marks 100. First question of 40 marks. First, write an essay on one of the following. A. Bureaucratic control discourages industrial expansion. B. Urban Indian woman and the rural Indian woman. C. Frequent general elections are a burden upon this economy. D. Romanticism in literature is not obsolete. E. Computer and creativity. F. The contemporary social cinema is losing its battle for survival. G. Environmental improvement cannot coexist with urban development. H. A career in the Indian Army. Second, write a précis of the following passage in your own words and add a little. Use the special sheet provided for the purpose. In 1897, at the age of 40, Ross made one of the greatest of medical discoveries. He proved that malaria was transmitted by mosquitoes, showed how the transmission occurred, and identified the particular kind of mosquito which was responsible. This discovery not only brought one of the most harmful diseases within control, but also helped to show how other insect-borne diseases such as yellow fever, sleeping sickness, typhus, and plague might be prevented. When Ross began his research, it was not even certain that mosquitoes had anything to do with malaria. No one knew whether it was transmitted through mosquito bites or by the drinking of water containing infected larvae of mosquitoes. Manson inclined to the latter theory, and at first Ross followed him. But Ross accumulated various facts which seemed to be against it. He noticed that though Secunderabad was surrounded by marshes, there was little malaria. He thought that this might be due to the wind, for Secunderabad was a windy place, and it was known that mosquitoes did not thrive in windy weather. These and other observations turned him away from Manson's drinking water theory and directed his attention more to transmission by the flying and biting mosquito. He concentrated on trying to discover whether this mode of transmission is indeed the one which actually occurs. Third, choose 5 of the following pairs of words and make meaningful sentences with each word of the chosen pair. 2 into 4 marks. First, quiet, Q-U-I-T-E, quiet, Q-U-I-E-T. Second, board, B-O-R-E-D, board, B-O-A-R-D, board. Third, W-I-N, win, W-E-A-N, win. Fourth, S-I-T, sit, S-E-A-T, seat. Fifth, propose, P-R-O-P-O-S-E, propose. Purpose, P-U-R-P-O-S-E. Sixth, affect, A-F-F-E-C-T, affect, effect, E-F-F-E-C-T, effect. Seventh, shade, S-H-A-D-E, shade, shed, S-H-E-D, shed. Eighth, principle, P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L-E, principle, P-R-I-N-C-I-P-A-L. Answer, quiet. The boy is quite good in his studies. Quiet. This is a very quiet place. Second, bored. I felt bored at the meeting. Bored. The notice was pasted on the board. Third, win. You must win the match today. Wean. I tried to wean him away from bad companies. Fourth, sit. Sit on this chair. Seat. There is no empty seat in the hall. Fifth, purpose. I propose his name for presidentship. Purpose. What is the purpose of his coming here? Affect. This will affect his health. Effect. This will have a bad effect on his health. Page number 902. Shade. The tree gives us shade. Shed. Tree shed their leaves in winter. Principle. He is a man of principle. Principle. My principal objection is this. Fourth. Choose 5 of the following idioms and make sentences with each to bring out their meaning. 2 into 5 marks. First, to go out of one's way. Second, at cross purposes. Third, to make light. Fourth, beyond all questions. Fifth, the ins and outs. Sixth, every inch. Seventh, neither head nor tail. Eighth, to get the better of. Answer. He went out of his way to help me. They are arguing at cross purposes. He made light of my objections. His honesty is beyond all questions. I know the ins and outs of the matter. He is every inch a soldier. I could make neither head nor tail of what he said. He got the better of me in the race. Fifth, translate one of the following passages into English, 20 marks. UPSC Civil Service Examination, IAS, IPS, IFS, Allied Services, etc. English compulsory. Time 3 hours, full marks 300. Candidates should attempt all questions. The number of marks carried by each question is indicated at the end of the question. Answers must be written in English. First, write an essay in about 300 words on one of the following 100 marks. A. Man is saved not by faith but by work. B. Indian culture. C. Contribution of science to human progress. D. Political reform you want in India. E. Laughter is the best medicine. Second, read the following passages and answer in your own words. The questions with that follow. 5 into 15 is equal to 75 marks. 2 important stages come not as long before the dawn of writing history. The first was the domestication of animals. The second was agriculture. Agriculture, which began in the river valley of Egypt and Mesopotamia, was a step in human progress to which subsequently there was nothing comparable until our own machine age. Agriculture made possible an immense increase in the numbers of the human species in the region where it could be successfully practiced, but at first these regions were few. These were in fact only those in which nature fertilized the soil after each harvest. Agriculture met with violent resistance, analogues to that which our Ruskins and Samuel Butlers offered to machines. Pastoral nomads considered themselves vastly superior to the tame folk who stayed in one place and were enslaved to the soil. But although the nomads repeatedly won military victories, the physical comforts which the upper classes derived from agricultural serfs always prevailed in the end, and the area of agriculture gradually increased. Even now this process is not at an end, but what remains for it to achieve is no longer very important. The only fundamental technical advance that preceded the emergence of man into recorded history was the invention of writing. Writing, like spoken language, developed gradually. It developed out of pictures, but as soon as it has reached a certain stage, it made possible the keeping of records and the transmission of information to people who were not present when the information was given. Questions. A. What was the second important stage in our prehistory and where did it begin? B. What happened in the regions where agriculture was successful? C. What happened in the conflict between the nomads and agriculturists? D. What technical advance took place before the period of recorded history and what did it accomplish? E. Who considered themselves superior to whom and why? Third, make a précis of the following passage in your own language in about 230 words on the special précis sheet provided. 75 marks. It has been estimated that the human population of 600 BC was about 5 million people, taking perhaps 1 million years to get there from 2.5 million. The population did not reach 500 million until almost 8,000 years later, about 1650 AD. This means it doubled roughly once every 1,000 years or so. It reached a billion people around 1850, doubling in some 200 years. It took only 80 years or so for the next doubling, as the population reached 2 billion around 1930. We have not completed the next doubling of 4 billion yet, but we now have well over 3 billion people. The doubling time at present seems to be about 37 years, quite a reduction in doubling times: 1 lakh years, 200 years, 80 years, 37 years. One of the most ominous facts of the current situation is that roughly 40% of the population of the underdeveloped world is made up of people under 15 years. As that mass of young people moves into its reproductive years during the next decade, we are going to see the greatest boom of all time. Those youngsters are the reason for all the ominous predictions for the year 2000. They are the gunpowder for the population explosion. How did we get into this bind? It all happened a long time ago, and the story involved the process of natural selection, the development of culture, and the man's swollen head. The essence of success in evolution is reproduction. For reproduction is the key of winning the evolutionary game. Any structure, psychological process, or pattern of behavior that leads to greatest reproductive success will tend to be perpetuated. The entire process by which man developed involves thousands of millennia of our ancestors being more successful breeder than their relatives. Fact number 1 of our bind: the urge to reproduce has been fixed in us by billions of years of evolution. Of course, through all those years of evolution, our ancestors were fighting a continual battle to keep the birth rate ahead of the death rate. That they were successful is attested to by our very existence. For if the death rate had overtaken the birth rate for any substantial period of time, the evolutionary line leading to man would have gone extinct. Among our ancestors, a few million years ago, it was still very difficult for a mother to rear her children successfully. Most of the offspring died before they reached reproductive age. The death rate was near the birth rate. Then another factor centered the picture. Cultural evolution was added to biological evolution. Of course, in the early days, the whole system did not prevent a very high mortality among the young as well as among the older members of the group. Hunting and food gathering was a risky business. Cavemen had to throw very impressive cave bearing out of their cave before the men could move in. Witch doctors and shamans had a less than perfect record at treating wounds and curing diseases. Life was short, if not sweet. Man's total population size doubtless increased slowly but steadily. As human population expanded out of Africa, cradle of our species, then about 8,000 years ago a major change occurred. The agriculture revolution. People began to give up hunting food and settle down to grow it. Suddenly some of the risk was removed from the life. The chances of dying of starvation diminished greatly in some human groups. Other threats associated with the nomadic life was also reduced, perhaps balanced by new threats of disease and large-scale warfare associated with development of cities, but the overall result was a more secure existence than before, and the human population grew more rapidly. Around 1800, when the standard of living in what are today the developed countries was dramatically increasing due to industrialization, population growth really began to accelerate. The development of medical science was the straw that broke the camel's back. Page number 904. Fourth, fill in the blanks using appropriate forms of the words given below. Characterize, coagulant, fright, globe, civilized, disaster, disastrous, move, enthusiasm, pessimistic, philosophizing. First, the dash of clouds lead to change in the weather. Second, man's continuance on earth is shrouded in dash. Third, a cosmic dash may end life on earth. Fourth, vitamin K is essential for the dash of blood. Fifth, is our dash going on the right path? Sixth, the economic dash of our country is changing. Seventh, once in the jungle, the boys were dash. Eighth, what does Indian dash teach? Ninth, dash is affecting India's economy. Tenth, he spoke dash about the existence of God. Answer: movement, pessimism, disaster, coagulation, civilization, characteristic, frightened, philosophy, globalization, enthusiastically. B. Use each of the following words in two separate sentences, first as a noun and then as a verb. 10 marks. First, hunt, H-U-N-T. Second, wound, W-O-U-N-D. Third, discredit, D-I-S-C-R-E-D-I-T. Fourth, team. Fifth, experience. Answer. First, hunt, noun. He caught a deer after a long hunt. Hunt, verb. The police hunt down the criminal. Second, wound, noun. The man has a bullet wound in the left leg. Wound, verb. 5 persons were wounded in the accident. Third, discredit, noun. His behavior brought discredit upon the family. Discredit, verb. Such foolish behavior will discredit him with the public. Fourth, team, noun. A team of experts came here last week. Team, verb. We all teamed up to do work. Fifth, experience, noun. We have no previous experience in such jobs. Experience, verb. He experienced great hardships in his early life. C. Rewrite the following sentences as directed parenthetically. Marks 5. First, shut down the door after you, she told him curtly. In the bracket, change into indirect form. Second, did she commit all the mistakes? Change into passive voice. Third, many difficulties are impossible to overcome. Use a single word for the underlined phrases. Fourth, underlined phrases being impossible to overcome. Fourth, hard as he tried, the old man failed to find a buyer for his bicycle. Use though. Fifth, she is so good that others cannot beat her. Replace so by to, TOO. Answer. She ordered him curtly to shut the door after him. Second, were all the mistakes committed by her? Third, many difficulties are insurmountable. Fourth, though he tried, the old man failed to find a buyer for his bicycle. Fifth, she is too good for others to beat her. Fifth, correct the following sentences. Marks 10. First, she vividly described about the situation. Second, he chose only such men for his company whom he could trust. Page number 905. Third, he does not boast his merits. Fourth, the rich lead a luxuriant life. Fifth, the work was hard and exhaustive. Sixth, sages had prophesied the coming of the prophet. Eighth, earth may again be hit by a huge meteor. He came to the city with a view to get a job. 9th, he was angry upon me. 10th, why she is doing this? Answer. She vividly described the situation. He chose only such men for his company as he could trust. He does not boast of his merit. The rich lead a luxurious life. The work was hard and exhausting. Sages has prophesied of the coming of the prophet. The earth may again be hit by a huge meteor. He came to the city with a view to getting a job. He was angry with me. Why is she doing this? B. Of the words given in brackets, choose the one you think appropriate to fill in the blanks. 10 marks. First, she has the dash to this property. In the bracket, write WRIGHT or RIGHT. Second, he has dash his own method for doing the work. In the bracket, devised DEVISED, DEVICED. Third, fetch me a dash of water. In the bracket, pale PALE or PAIL. Fourth, all the dash of the airline was grounded. In the bracket, AIR CRAFT aircraft, AIR CRAFTS aircrafts. Fifth, the government has selected the dash for the hospital. Site, SITE site or CITE site. Sixth, the dash of Kargil have fallen silence. In the bracket, cannons, CANONS or CANNONS. 8. The Tropic of Dash is an imaginary line. In the bracket, Cancer, CANCER or CANCER. CAN in one C is a capital C and the other is normal. 8. The budget dash could not be offset. In the bracket, deficit DEFICIT or DEFICIENCY deficiency. 9th, when they come down the hill, the dash was steep. In the bracket, descent DESCENT or DECENT. 10th, the government collapsed when there was a dash in the party. In the bracket, fraction FRACTION or FACTION. Answer. First, RIGHT, right. Second, devised, DEVISED, devised. Third, pale, PAIL, pale. Fourth, aircraft, fifth, site, SITE, site. Sixth, cannons, C with small c. Seventh, CANNONS, cancer with capital CANCER. 8th, deficit DEFICIT. 9th, descent DESCENT. 10th, faction FACTION. C. Use the following purchases in sentences so as to bring out their meanings. 5 marks. First, bring about. Second, break in. Third, heart and soul. Fourth, lie low. Fifth, hold one's breath. Answer. His ruin was brought about by his own folly. The robbers broke in at night. He tried heart and soul to help me. I had to lie low for the moment. She held her breath as the result were being announced. West Bengal Civil Service Examination 2001. Composition and Translation. Time allowed 3 hours. Full marks 100. First, write an essay on one of the following. 40 marks. Your thought and aspirations as a global citizen in this new millennium. B. National integration and ethnic minorities of India. C. National progress and private enterprise in the global perspective in India today. D. Computer revolution and its impact upon our life. Second, write a précis of the following passage in your own words and add a title. 20 marks. Economic welfare is only one part of human welfare. It is very possible for asymmetrical societies to look after minorities very well. If you look at a document like Arthashastra of Kautilya, it is quite clear that a obligation of the emperor is to look after the economic welfare of the entire population, but was not an egalitarian society in terms of political power. In fact, very far from it. A society in which a rigid dominant group looks after the economic well-being of the non-dominant group from above would not be good society, as the dominated are denied the right to enjoy political influence, civil freedom and participate in the decisions of the state and society. The main argument against Hindu rule is that this is not a Hindu country and the Muslim, Christians, Buddhists and others have as much right to take part in the polity of India, in the society of India as Hindu do. In fact, I do not accept the term majoritism which you used. The majority of Indians may be Hindu, but the majority of Indians are not intolerant Hindus or intolerant Muslims. I should not accept the right of Hindu sectarian to be described as majoritarian. They are minoritarians. The majoritarians in India are those who regard religious tolerance to be very central, no matter whether they are themselves Hindus or Muslims. The main argument against asymmetry of power in religious and social matters is the bribery of that arrangement itself, not its implication in terms of economic welfare. Third, choose 5 following pairs of words /verb idioms and make meaningful sentences with each of the chosen pair. 10 marks. First, historical. Second, imaginary, imaginative. Third, rare, scarce. Fourth, deal in, deal with. Fifth, urban, urbane. Sixth, seminar, seminary. Social, sociable. Go by, go through. Answer. Historic. This is a historic building. Historical. It is a historical novel. Imaginary. He suffers from imaginary diseases. Imaginative. He was of an imaginative turn of mind from his boyhood. Rare. He possesses some rare qualities. Scarce. Money is scarce now. Deal in. He deals in rice. Deals with. He does not deal honestly with his customers. Urban. The urban population faces acute housing problem. Urbane. His urbane manners pleases us all. Seminar. They have gone to attend a seminar. Seminary. There is a seminary for young ladies in the town. Social. Vidyasagar was a very great social reformer. Sociable. He charmed everybody with his sociable manners. Go by. The dog goes by the name of Sputnik. Go through. I have gone through the book. Fourth, rewrite 5 of the following sentences after inserting appropriate prepositions in the gaps. 10 marks. First, she marries dash love and it turned dash dust. Second, although they lived dash style, they felt always an anxiety dash the house. Third, I confess dash some suspicion dash your honesty. Fourth, he was innocent dash grammar, but he was not to be baffled dash his ignorance. Fifth, he is good dash mathematics, but weak dash English. Sixth, As Shyamal is averse dash hard work, his father is angry dash him. 7th. He inquired dash the headmaster dash his son's progress. 8th. I do not agree dash what he says, but differs dash your opinion. Answer. She married for love and it turned to dust. Although they lived in style, they felt always an anxiety for the house. I confess to some suspicion about your honesty. He was innocent of grammar, but was not to be baffled by his ignorance. He is good at mathematics, but weak in English. As Shyamal is averse to hard work, his father is angry with him. He inquired of the headmaster about his son's progress. I do not agree to what he says, but differ with your opinion.